Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your plate.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary at 12. My name is Hansen Der Capuchin. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation.
Ria TV. Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
the black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your plate.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary at 12. My name is Hansen Der Capuchin. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and how to call it.
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Both connecting with this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV, listening to True FM 96.1.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
the black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll take your plate.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary at 12. My name is Hansen Der Capuchin. Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and how to call it.
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Both connecting with this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM,
On Ria TV,
into Truth FM 96.1.
took to his social media page to commend the Bouaka Combs administration for the reburial of former President Samuel Doe, stating it was something the CDC administration could have done. Councillor Kanyo Babala, who is now an assistant professor of law at the Louis Actor Graham School of Law, comments were met with mixed reaction, particularly from within the CDC. Some members accused him of seeking employment and embarrassing the party. But speaking recently in an interview on state radio, Councillor Babala maintained that any leader who undertakes significant national initiatives should be acknowledged regardless of political affiliation. Meanwhile, reflecting on Liberia's political history, Councillor Babala noted that Grand Jide County has consistently supported the CDC in every election since 2005. He said the CDC missed a great opportunity by not honoring former President Doe in such a manner. In continuous effort to expand its mission of preaching and teaching in Liberia, the Independent Catholic Church of Liberia has ordained new priests. The Mass for the ordination of priests was held at the Cheerful Give Works Cathedral in Johnsonville, Montserrat County on Sunday, June 29, 2025. Reverend Father B.N. Koluba and Reverend Father Philibert Blambo Nimle were ordained in the presence of the congregation, foreign guests, and family members. During the ceremony, the head of the Independent Catholic Church of Liberia, Bishop Nimle Doyon, charged the new priest to remain committed to the service of God and humanity. He urged them to live a life that represents Jesus Christ as a servant and savior of mankind. Bishop Doyen also challenged the new priest to carry out the ministry of Jesus Christ with genuine love towards humanity, attending not to their own concerns but those of Christ. The occasion was also graced by Archbishop John Milton of the African American Congregation in the United States. Speaking to RCI News following the ordination, Archbishop Milton expressed concerns about the challenging living conditions of people in Liberia and need to work together in solving the problem facing humanity. He urged the new priest to help lead the people of God by giving hope and reaching out, while praising Bishop Doyen for going out to seek help for people in need in Liberia. The Citizen Movement for Change, CMC, received 2 vehicles from its political leader, Representative Musa Belete. The vehicles, according to Representative Belete, are meant to enhance the operations of various organs of the party. The new pickups were officially handed over on Wednesday, July 2, 2025, at the party headquarters in Monrovia. One was presented to the chair of the National Women Congress and the other to the chairperson for the National Exoneration. A bold resolution obtained by this station has confirmed that suspended Director General of the Liberia Agricultural Commodity Regulatory Authority, Christopher Sankolo, was officially authorized by the institution's board to open an additional bank account with the United Bank for Africa. President Joseph Boakai on June 26 suspended both Sankolo and his deputy for administration and finance, Chie Gali, over allegations of financial misconduct and unauthorized financial transactions. The suspensions came amid allegations that the 2 top executives has conspired to open a separate bank account at UBA outside of the recognized and approved LACRA accounts, with the alleged intent of diverting institutional funds for unauthorized use. However, the resolution directly contradicts those rumors. The document, titled Board of Directors Resolution 03, was signed and adopted on April 4, 2025 by all members of the LACRA board during its first quarter sitting held at the agency's headquarters at the Freeport of Monrovia. Among the key decisions contained in the resolution was the formal authorization for LACRA management under the leadership of Sankolo to open an additional account with UBA. This documentation adds a new dimension to the ongoing scandal, revealing that the decision to open the UBA account was not made unilaterally by Sankolo and his deputy, but was instead an authorized directive from the board. The resolution indicates that the account opening was one component of a broader set of institutional approval that were passed during the board meeting. According to the document, the board also approved LACRA's 2025 work plan and operational budget, projecting a revenue stream of $2,789,878 United States dollars and planned expenditures of $2,275,148 United States dollars, leaving a surplus of $514,730 United States dollars. The resolution mandated the LACRA management to undertake the renovation of the defunct LOFA's LPMC warehouses and offices, among others. The president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Lili Mapayan, is expected to serve as the guest lecturer on the second edition of the newly launched program University of the Air. This Friday, Dr. Mapayan will present on university or college administration in general and administering the University of Liberia in particular. The program was launched recently by the Liberia Media for Democratic Initiative and Radio Zimanen 90.3 FM. According to LMDI Executive Director John Collins, Dr. Mapayan will address a maximum of 100 students from various colleges of the university in a 30-minute presentation as a lecturer and be allowed another 30 minutes of interaction with the attending students. Director Polly said the University of the Air is designed by the LMDI and Radio Zimane 90.3 FM for pure tertiary public education by the mass media, especially radio and futures professors and tertiary school leaders. Speaking via phone Wednesday, John Colley said University of the Air takes the format of a pre-recorded radio and TV program, bringing together tertiary students and their professors in classroom, star setting monthly at tertiary schools across the nation in fees of study. President Joseph Boakai is expected to host a National Healing, Reconciliation and Unity program this Saturday, July 5 in Monrovia. The program, according to the presidency, is in a continuation of government's commitment to national unity and historical justice. The program follows the dignified and historic reburial ceremonies of two of Liberia's former leaders, President William Turnbull and President Samuel Doe, whose lives were lost during periods of national rest. These ceremonies, being held in June and July respectively, mark a critical step in the Boakai administration's broader effort to foster national healing from the painful chapters of Liberia's past. Announcing the upcoming event, Dr. Jasu Jala, Minister of Education and Chairperson of the National Reburial and Reconciliation Committee, emphasized that this national gathering will honor not only the memories of Liberia's former leaders, but also the thousands of citizens who perished during the country's brutal civil conflict, the deadly Ebola epidemic, and the devastating COVID-19 pandemic. A young Liberian advocate, Ambassador Andrew Wheeler Jr., has frowned at some Liberians for using education as a weapon against their fellow citizens. Ambassador Wheeler agrees to some extent with individuals who believed in the saying, "Broke people spoiled the country," adding they may not be wrong because the average Liberians use education as a weapon to take advantage of others. Serving as guest speaker during graduation of Cigar Girls Academy in the Chicken Soup Factory community on the topic, "Should education be used as a weapon or a beacon of hope?" Andrew Wheeler said the world now stands at a crossroad with several challenges, with Liberia being of no exception. The monitoring and evaluation expert noted that a survey on education, especially with people who are perceived to be illiterate, blamed Liberia's lack of development on those who are educated. He challenged the graduates to follow their educational sojourn upon graduation and serve as an agent of change whenever they are given the opportunity to serve the country. The National Identification Registry has officially received over 500 biometric voter registration kits from the National Elections Commission. The gesture is aimed at strengthening the capacity of the National Identification Registry in the discharge of its statutory mandate. Speaking during the turnover, NEC chairperson David Eto Brown Lasana said the presentation of the biometric voter registration kits does not take away the Commission's statutory responsibility of registering voters in the country. She lauded the Liberian government and the United Nations Development Program for their interest in digitalizing Liberia, as well as their continuous support to the country and people. For his part, the National Identification Registry Executive Director Andrew Peters described the ceremony as a milestone achievement in the history of both entities. He indicated that the National Identification Registry is grateful for the cooperation, noting the MOU will host our capacity in terms of enrollment, equipment, and save the Liberian government more finances. And out of Liberia, a Ugandan military helicopter crashed and caught fire at the main international airport in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, killing 5 people on board. The pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer survived with serious injuries and severe burning. Ugandan military spokesman Major General Flex Kulagin said, adding that an investigation into the cause of the crash was underway. Somalia's state-run news agency reported that the fire was quickly contained by the emergency services at the Aden Adi International Airport. Ugandan troops are part of an 11,000-strong African Union force helping the government fight the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group, which has been waging a brutal insurgency in Somalia for more than 2 decades. Well, Johnson, that's the shape of the news bulletin. Is back to you for continuation of the program.
Ria TV, True FM.
Okay, Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV.
Into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai if you don't organize yourself in your grateful manner, we'll keep your later level.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News Summary at 12. My name is Hanson Delta Present.
Welcome to News and Analysis, 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presented
on News Desk, thanks to Emmanuel Sangsi for the reading of the news bulletin on Truth 96.1. If you are just joining us in one of our top developments, in a major boost to fight against drug abuse in Liberia, a woman arrested with $100,000 United States dollars worth of illicit drugs, convicted and sentenced to 3 years and 6 months at the Monrovia Central Prison. Let's bring you the first development on the program. President Joseph Boakai is expected to host a National Healing, Reconciliation and Unity program this Saturday, July 5 in Monrovia. The program, according to the presidency, is in a continuation of government's commitment to national unity and historical justice. The program follows the dignified and historic reburial ceremonies of two of Liberia's former leaders, President William Toro and President Samuel Doe, whose lives were lost during periods of national unrest. The chairman of the ceremony is Education Minister Dr. Jasu Jala. She been making the clarity to newsmen. We sincerely apologize. We cannot lay our hands on that episode here on the news desk. Let's bring you this development where the Citizens Movement for Change has received 2 vehicles from its political leader, Representative Musa Belete. The vehicles, according to Representative Belete, are meant to enhance the operations of various organs of the party. The new pickups were officially handed over on Wednesday, July 2, 2025, at the party headquarters in Monrovia.
On behalf of the National Advancement Council, the Executive Committee, the Chair of CMC Global, CMC USA, CMC Europe, and all the members of CMC are pleased to present to you 2 vehicles, one for the Chair of the National Women's Congress of CMC, and the other for the Chair for the National Coordinator of National Auxiliary. These 2 vehicles are the beginning of many things for CMC. We're not a joking party, where we know to improve ourselves. These vehicles are not for working, not for focusing. We keep women all seriously. That's why I'm happy the president is with the women's members. But our church is in the women population of this people. So we want to congratulate our church, and we will show you that there are many more legislation on the way for the women of this people. So we know that as we said them all, we have to make sure they are all mobile. We have to make sure we community are rich. We are here to show support to you, but so that this party is very good. We like to do the work. So our prayer for national government of the believe that you are you have opportunity to work with me because for CMC win will not have a government.
He is the political leader of the Citizens Movement for Change and Nima County District 7 Representative Musa Biriti. CMC National Chairman James Yoki received the vehicles on behalf of the party.
Honorable political leader and to all of our members in the diaspora, on behalf of the National Executive Committee, honorable political leader, and our members and supporters, I'd like to say thank you to you, the National Advisory Council, for this support. I can assure you that these vehicles, as your initial support to this political party, will be used for the internal purpose, and I can assure you that with a lot of work and commitment, these moving hard, they're going to deliver on the expectations that we have of them. I can also assure you that the rest of the leadership we have in the party are doing very well, and pretty soon we'll be making a future recommendations for their capacity building, so that the CMC, as it is growing so fast and becoming so powerful.
He is the national chairman of the Citizens Movement for Change, James Yoki. The speaking earlier on heard the voice of the political leader of the CMC, Representative Musa Biriti. The former campaign chairperson or spokesperson of the Coalition for Democratic Change, Councillor Kanlu Barbala, has defended his recent appreciation of President Joseph Boakai, stating it was not intended as a criticism of the CDC, but rather a gesture in support of national reconciliation. Recently, the CDC stalwart took on his official Facebook page to commend the Boakai administration for the reburial of former President Samuel Doe, stating it was something that the CDC administration could have done. Councillor Barbala, who is now an assistant professor of law at the Louis Ada Graham School of Law, comments was met with mixed reactions, particularly within or from individual within the CDC. Some members accused him of seeking employment and embarrassing the party. But speaking recently in an interview with State Radio, Councillor Bala maintained that any leader who undertakes a significant national initiative should be acknowledged regardless of the political affiliation.
What is good for my country? And I believe that whomever does what is good for my country ought to be void of politics, especially to the impact on activities that are going to uplift our country. My logic of President Boakai should not be seen as a criticism of CDC. It should be seen as a form of self-awakening, reawakening of understanding what is important for the country. I didn't compliment President Boakai's reburial of President Doe simply because President Doe hailed from Rankin County. I complimented him because in the realm of transitional justice, you know, where countries go through violent upheavals and now are on a path of renewal, of trying to make things right, setting the history correct and building reconciliation is good for our country. It's not only President Doe that President Boakai elected to confirm the reburial. He is also doing it for the Douglas family, I believe, as well. He was also present at the of the late Senator Prince Johnson of Nima County. So it is not a tribal or a county thing. It is a good thing because it fosters reconciliation. And like I said, I believe the CDC could have done so.
He is the former campaign spokesperson of the Congress for Democratic Change. Meanwhile, reflecting on Liberia's political history, Councillor Kanlu Barbala noted the Grand Julia County has consistently supported the CDC every election since 2005. He said the CDC makes a great opportunity by not honoring former President Doe in such a manner.
Who are now, insulting, vilifying, castigating, denigrating me and bringing my character under attack should be reminded. I was the chief propagandist of the CDC during the recent elections. I led substantive evidence-based attacks against the UP coming to state power. All right. Notwithstanding, I still have the moral temerity to now be able to see when something is right. We need to move into that space. Space of recognizing when good is done, let's acknowledge it. And let me just add something of a personal here. One of the reasons I was provoked to write what I wrote as a Grandidian was because when I looked at the historical support that Grandidian County has always given my party since 2005, whether it's always 80% and above the people of that county have given to the CDC, rightly even Grapevine County, where the former president comes from. And to have something as symbolic as this not happen under our administration, I mean, it was a lost opportunity. And the fact that President Boyka did it, it is a big opportunity. And we should acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. So like people acknowledge that. I don't think it is the business. And when you see that, instead of dealing with what it is, you're trying to reframe an argument. The CDC.
He is the former campaign spokesperson of the coalition, that's the Coalition for Democratic Change, CDC, and an eminent son of Grandidian County there speaking. In continuous effort to expand its mission of preaching and teaching in Liberia, the Independent Catholic Church of Liberia has ordained new priests. The mass for the ordination of priests was held at the Careful Gabriel Cathedral in Jacksonville, Missouri County on Sunday, June 29, 2025. Reverend Father Bien Koluba and Reverend Father Philibert Blambo Nimle were ordained in the presence of the congregation, foreign guests, and family members. During the ceremony, the head of the Independent Catholic Church of Liberia, Bishop Nimle Doyen, charged the new priests to remain committed to service of God and humanity.
In the name of Christ, the teacher. To everyone, the word you now receive with joy. Meditate on the law of the Lord. See that you believe what you read, that you teach what you believe, and that you practice what you teach. In this way, let's practice the nourishment for the people of God. Let the movement of the last be lateral practice to pray people. So that by the word example, you will build up the house of spiritual church. Likewise, you will exercise in Christ the office of by your
government's operation of prosecuting individuals linked to the government
to your own concerns for the glories of Jesus Christ. Finally, my dear sons, exercises for your past, the office of Christ, head and shepherd, while you learn with the bishop and subject to him.
He is the head of the Independent Catholic Church of Liberia, Bishop Nimle Doyen there speaking. The occasion was also graced by Archbishop John Milton of the African American Congregation in the United States. Speaking to RCI News following the ordination, Archbishop Milton expressed concerns about the challenging living conditions of people in Liberia and need to work together in solving the problem facing humanity. Listen to Archbishop Milton.
Here for these few days, I've continued to learn of the needs that have been consecrated today are expected, and we believe that that's why they were consecrated, that they're able to bring something to the people to help lead them out of whatever the situations are that cause them to feel a need to call upon God. And so Liberia, as we know about the economic situation, we know about the political situation, we know of the family situation, all of the social structure, and of course with this changing world, especially at this time in history. It's a very mobile time in history where things are changing, and we're going to need new leaders to rise up, to stand up, and to speak for the people and speak to the people. No. The church should be speaking for the people. Well, we can't call ourselves a Christian church and not do like Jesus, because that's exactly what Jesus did. I'm not only a priest and archbishop, but I'm a lawyer. And people say, oh, how can you be a lawyer and a priest? I'm like, well, what did Jesus do? We want to put Jesus in a box and put Jesus as just a preacher. When he was a teacher, he was a healer. He was an advocate. And now we all know the story, but we forget about them or we don't relate them to our lives. And if we're going to be like Christ.
He is Archbishop John Milton of the African American Congregation in the United States of America, thus speaking during the ordination of two priests at the Independent Catholic Church of Liberia. Earlier on, heard the voice of the head of the church in Liberia, is Bishop Nimlet Doyen. At this point, we join Eric Butterfine, who will bring us the Passion of Life Sports. Good evening.
Good evening, Johnson Batoma. Good evening, everyone. The First Eastern Board of the Liberia Football Association has given FC Fussil, the champions of the Orange First Division League, the green light to participate in the 2025-2026 CAF Inter-Club competition, Liberia Sports International is reporting. The five-man board, headed by Councillor Jacob Dariel, confidentially and equally assessed that Fussil shall be given a lesson to compute, having reviewed and verified the submission of their documents. Fussil will debut in the CAF Champions League preliminary stage when the draw is hopefully held in this month, July. The first and second legs of the first preliminary round will be in September. The 2025 Liberia Kickball Federation National Lottery NACO League will continue in a satin feature on tomorrow, Thursday, at the SKD's complex in Penzio. Elite girls are set to light up the playing pitch with a tense clash against the defendant in Nathan at 1 p.m. United Angels and Success Kickball clubs will face off at 2 p.m. in a match expected to be a kickball showpiece at the same venue. The Lacers will battle last season League One runner-ups Royal Sisters in a first league teams showdown at 3 p.m. Girls of Zion and Destiny Monserrado will tussle in a do-or-die match, and Shooting Star 1 and CYE will climax the day's kickball activities at 5 p.m. The 2025 National Basketball League will continue on today and tomorrow at the SKD Sports Complex in Penzio. The women's division class commenced just before the news, while Desert Ladies and Future Basketball are currently locking horns at the SKD Gymnasium here in Penzio. The two teams are expected to fight intensively for victory in the effort to make advancements at battle for playoff ESUP. According to the updates, Desert Ladies ahead of Future Basketball with 32-26 points. Penzio Bulldogs and Bannerville Lions are up next in the showdown. On Thursday, Howard Kings and struggling Bannerville Dragons will kickstart basketball festivity at 4 p.m. with the Highway Boys hoping to easily defeat Dragons with a prop of making history and progress to the next round of the competition. At 5:30 p.m. on tomorrow, the emerging talents in the first division category, Spartacus, will take on Silent Invincible 11 or IE, who will be hoping to heal from a victory after a painful 10 points margin lost to the weekend by LPRC orders. IE first win of the season came against Commissioner recently. The basketball activities will be climaxed at 7 p.m. when Butcher Bulls will be up against Seston Morgans as both clubs struggle to make advancement after conceding series of defeat since the league commenced. Stay with the basketball. The FIBA Under 16 Afro Basket Zone 3 qualifiers are scheduled to take place in July from 10th of this month to the 17th. The competition will be hosted at the Samuel Canadolo Sports Complex Gymnasium in Penzio City. According to the official team list released by FIBA, 5 national Under 16 teams are set to participate in the qualifiers. They are host Liberia, Benin, Burkina Faso, Togo, and Ivory Coast. Quentin Community Reconciliation Tournament started at the weekend with Black E championing over Black A in the kickball category, 17-18 home runs, and in football to a 2-1 win, making both a victory festival for Black E. The kickoff ceremony was graced by high-profile individuals such as EC member Kevin Bayo of the Liberia Football Association, Alfonso Samuka, Oliver Vanning, former commissioner of Johnsonville. And away from Liberia, Inter Miami are confident they will renew Lionel Messi contract, which expires this December 2025. The 38-year-old forward is a marquee player for Miami and Major League Soccer, and all parties have become contract negotiation to extend his stay in the United States. But RCR Sports Desk can confirmed that a huge offer from Saudi Arabia have arisen in Miami over $300 million deal worth for Lionel Messi. If accepted and signed, Messi is supposed to become the world's most paid player in terms of salary. Well, Johnson, that's it for this post.
Many thanks to Evelyn Batafoya for partnering in the passion of live sports here on News Desk. In more development, the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Lady Mapayan, is expected to serve as guest lecturer on the second edition of the newly launched program University of the Air. This Friday, Dr. Mapayan will represent our university or present our university on college administration in general and administering the University of Liberia in particular. LMDR Executive Director is John Qualley. He will explain more via mobile phone.
He-Man 90.3 FM, our new mobile radio station, the LMDR name, we have launched the newest program called University of the Air. Our first edition was on the 13th of June, and we sat at the Peter Coco School of Journalism and brought lectures around journalism. And so we had a second edition of the University of the Air on Friday, and we are featuring the president of the University of Liberia, Dr. Lily Mapayan, who's coming to lecture on university administration in general, and specifically the UL vis-a-vis trying to improve the ULM. So we are glad to be hosting Dr. Mapayan and her university on Friday, beginning 12 to 12:30 p.m. The second edition of session is with Dr. Lily Mapayan, the president of the University of Liberia, and she will be the guest lecturer for this edition and session of the University of the Air, a program of radio He-Man 90.3 FM.
He is the executive director of the Liberia Media for Democratic Initiative, LMDR. They are speaking. The National Identification Registry has officially received over 500 biometric voter registration kits from the National Elections Commission. The gesture is aimed at strengthening the capacity of the National Identification Registry in the discharge of the statutory mandate. Speaking during the turnover ceremony, NEC chairperson David Etta Brown Laxana said the presentation of the biometric voter registration kits does not take away the Commission's statutory responsibility of registering voters in the country.
The National Elections Commission signing a memorandum of understanding with the NRR transfer some 500 biometric kits to that entity of government is a milestone achievement for both of our institutions. You are already aware that the NEC and NRR of the years have had a protracted period of engagement to support national digitization and related technological infrastructure for Liberians.
She is the chairperson of the National Elections Commission, Madam David Etta Brown Laxana. They're speaking for his part. National Identification Registry Executive Director Andrew Peters described the ceremony as a milestone achievement in the history of the two entities.
The Identification Registry are particularly glad for this collaboration with the National Elections Commission. It can be recalled that in May 2024, right after our launch of the roadmap for comprehensive enrollment of all citizens and legal residents in the Republic of Liberia, the NEC was the first institution of government that reached out to us and officially requested a copy of our roadmap. We then provided NEC a copy of our roadmap. It was from that time NEC and NRR negotiations started.
He is the executive director of the National Identification Registry, Andrew Peters. They're speaking earlier on, heard the voice of NEC chairperson David Etta Brown Laxana there during the presentation of the over 500 biometric voter registration kits to the NRR. Finally, a young Liberian advocate, Ambassador Andrew Blair Jr., has frowned at some Liberians for using education as weapon against their fellow citizens. Ambassador Blair agrees with to some extent with individuals who believed in the saying "broke people spoiled the country," adding they may not be in the wrong because the Irish Liberian used education as a weapon to take advantage of others. He spoke when he served as guest speaker during the graduation of the Selkirk Girls Academy in the Chicken Soup Factory community. He is a youthful Liberian advocate and monitoring and evaluation expert. His ambassador, Andrew Blair, they are speaking during the graduation of the Selkirk Girls Academy in the Chicken Soup Factory community, taking us home on today's edition of the program News Desk. But I will take leave of you a recap of our major developments. After the ceremonial reburial of former Presidents Twaibor and Doe, President Joseph Boakai to host National Healing, Reconciliation and Unity Program honoring victims of the Civil War, Ebola and COVID-19 in Monrovia. In a major boost to fight against drug abuse in Liberia, a woman arrested with $100,000 United States dollars worth of illicit drug convicted and sentenced to 3 years 6 months at the Monrovia Central Prison. Grand Jury of Mosquito County finally indicts former House Speaker for Natikofa and 14 others in connection to the alleged arson attack on the Capitol building and away from Liberia. Ugandan military headquarters catches fire at the Mee International Airport in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, killing 5 people on board, according to the BBC. We'd love to say many thanks to our writers, contributors, correspondents for making today's edition of the program a success. Thanks as well to Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited for their sponsorship. Thanks to Emmanuel Sassi, who was here with the reading of the news bulletin. Elwin Butterfly fighting in the passion of live sports. Daniel Solin Sarah controlled and produced our sounds, while Topo Sanga was behind the camera tonight. My name is Johnson Bantoma, and I presented. Good night.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV.
Into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier?
The black barrier is to tell Joseph Boakai if you don't organize yourself in a respectful manner, we'll keep your data like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen Delta present.
Welcome to News and Analysis, 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.